Institute in Pune, that is MIT. Then we got an idea, why can't we have National Women's Parliament? Then I asked him to come, we had discussed, and then our Honorable Speaker has rightly agreed, this is a very good thing, we will host in Amaravati. That is how this idea today inspired millions of women, millions of people all over the world. I am very happy and very proud of it.
Maharashtra Institute of Technology, a famous institute in Pune, Mr. Rahul Karad, Sri Vishwanath Karad, and the team of all faculty members, they participated in this conference, made this conference a success.
This conference will not become a Vijayawada or Amravati conference, but this Amravati, the only capital in India which is evolving in the vastness of nation, will give a light to all the world about the women empowerment.
NWP aims to create a better and conducive environment for women empowerment and nation building. First National Women's Parliament was a 3-day national conclave held at Amaravati, Andhra Pradesh on 10th, 11th and 12th of February 2017. It was attended by nearly 12,000 motivated girl student leaders who had participated from across the nation to establish direct connect with the policymakers, leaders and other women of eminence and deliberated about grassroots challenges being faced by young women in India. The Parliament was graced by more than 400 women members of legislative assemblies and nearly 90 women members of Parliament of India. Several eminent women from all walks of life interacted and deliberated with them. By a conscious deliberation between Sri Rahul V. Karad, founder and convener of Bharatiya Chhatra Sansad, the seed thought of National Women's Parliament was conceived. It was well supported and guided by Honorable Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu. 3 days of National Women's Parliament was thoughtfully divided in 5 different sessions with different topics to discuss.
We had that conference, you can say that was 2G, 3G something. And here, with the help of Rahul Karad, you have gone ahead, including these students, and you have gone to 4G, 5G something, like you are a technoman.
You know, Rahul Karad and his father has done such great initiative. So I congratulate him for taking this initiative for women empowerment.
Rahul Karad of the MIT, whom I've known for last decades, because of him this event has come here.
राहुल कराड जी का भी धन्यवाद करती हूँ कि जिन्होंने यहाँ पर इतना बड़ा कार्यक्रम आयोजन करने में आंध्र प्रदेश सरकार की मदद की। मैं राहुल कराड जी को कहना चाहूंगी, दिल्ली के स्पीकर श्री राम निवास गोयल जी हमारे बीच में हैं। मैं आपसे भी निवेदन करूंगी, अगर इस तरह का महिलाओं को ताकत, शक्ति देने का इसी तरह का कार्यक्रम हम दिल्ली में भी कर सके।
Along with the main function, a special event with the theme Run for Women Empowerment was organized from Swaraj Maidan, which was inaugurated by youth icon Ms. P.V. Sindhu. Young student leaders participated in the run with a lot of zeal and enthusiasm. A unique concept of Youth Connect to strengthen communication among the participants was also executed on first and second day of the Parliament. Participants exchanged their views and thoughts in a closed group, increasing the bonding between them. With the success of the first National Women's Parliament, now young women leaders are eagerly waiting for the second Parliament next year.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A very special good morning to all the women who are present here. It is because of you and your empowerment that we have been able to gather here in the numbers that we have. It's very encouraging to see the number of beautiful faces we have here this morning. I am Radhika Bhattacharya Shah, and I'm delighted to be invited here to be Master of Ceremonies. Thank you very much, Prakriti, for inviting me over. I'm honored. In India, we begin any auspicious occasion with either the Ganesh prayer or the national anthem. Would you please join me to sing the national anthem? And I have a special request. Can this room please roar with our voices singing Jana Gana Mana this morning? Thank you.
Jana Gana Mana Adhinayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkala Vanga Vindhya Himachal Yamuna Ganga Uchala Jaladhi Taranga तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे Jaya 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 He.
Thank you very much indeed. The foundations of the National Women's Parliament are set in the roots of it being a participatory democracy. It is an apolitical platform which aims to move beyond the days in which women, all of us, you and I, were never considered before policies and laws and legislatures pertaining to women were formed. Today, we are about to change that. It is really a democracy of thought. It is the seed of empowerment. It is what has got us here. This is what is lacking in a woman's life, because we always consider ourselves last amongst others. We grow up being daughters, and then we transform into wives. And then we have mother-in-laws to look after, families to feed, children to take care of. And somewhere during this journey, we lose ourselves. Today, we are here because we must remind ourselves that we play a pivotal role in society, and that society cannot do without us. And that is what is going to make this parliament so very special and unique in this great country of ours. There's never been a chance for a woman to carve her identity. Will this parliament help us do so? I'm sure it will. Since ancient times, females have been considered for certain things: productivity, fertility, good luck, strength, and you might have some ideas of some other aspects that women play in society. However, time and circumstances have made us feel insignificant and so very vulnerable. It is now time to manifest this divine feminine energy. Today we have in our audience a great number of empowered women, all of you honestly. Some of us are more in public eye, some of us are less, but it doesn't mean that each one of us is not a special woman here this morning. May I invite the dignitaries onto the stage, please. You will be ushered to the stage, the dignitaries, and may we have a round of applause as you see them on the stage, please. The fact that this platform has connected enough with you for you to join us today shows that you are aware of your inner strength. There are a multitude of women on the dais, and Mr. Karad, of course, from those on the threshold of empowerment in our audience who will play their part in this endeavor, to the women on our panels who will share their stories, their successes and their obstacles. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to the spectacular speakers who have understood their own empowerment and found their own identity in the cacophony that surrounds them. Of course, we have on stage the First Lady of today for sure, Miss Amrutha Fadnavis. A lovely round of applause for Mrs. Fadnavis, please. Thank you for being here this morning. Joining her, the keynote address will be given by Srimati Pankaja Munde. Thank you very much for being here this morning. The Minister of Women and Child Development, the NWP Knowledge Partners MSCW Chairperson, who was supposed to be here, Mrs. Vijaya Rahatka, but who's not with us today. The founder and convener of National Women's Parliament, Mr. Rahul Karad, thank you. And last, but by the means the least, the strategy, the force, the power behind the NWP Managing Trustee of the Poddar Foundation, the very impressive and beautiful Prakriti Poddar. I welcome all of you on the stage. Apart from her intelligence and wit, Amrutha is known for her voice. Now, how many of you here knew this? Despite her very busy days and schedule, one thing that Fadnavis never forgets to do is take care and revere the voice that God has given her. So, what she has put into practice in her lifestyle is giving time to that voice of hers. Rather than going to bed early after a very tiresome day, that Amrutha Fadnavis practices, does her riyaz with two very well-known classical singers to keep her voice in practice. I hope that someday we'll have the joy and pleasure of listening to you. Excuse me. At the same time, she fulfills her other commitments to whether as vice president of Axis Bank or as a social activist. Now, this is what makes a very special woman, an inspiration and a leader to many of us. For those who think that you can't be the chief minister's wife and also be a thorough professional, there you go, we've just broken that myth. I'd like to invite Mr. Rahul Karad to kindly facilitate Mrs. Fadnavis. Thank you very much indeed. A force to be reckoned in the political arena is another person who, for me, is something more than her achievements. For Pankaja Munde, being born into a political family was a compatible match. She established herself as an MLA at a very early age, and her prowess in politics began when she began helping her father in political rallies and encouraging other women to get into the political foray. So if you have young aspirational women who are trying to join politics today, it is for the likes of Ms. Munde. Her two passions are strategizing government policies and addressing women's issues. I'd like to welcome Rahulji again to kindly felicitate Ms. Pankaja Munde. Thank you very much. Before we go ahead, I would like to request Ms. Amrita Fadnavis to please come and say a few words, if you would, please. Thank you.
Yeah. A very good morning, Srimati Pankaja Munde, Mr. Rahul Karad, Dr. Prakriti Poddar, other dignitaries of the dais, and my dear friends. It's an honor to be here today and be a part of National Women's Parliament chapter opening here in Mumbai, which is the first chapter across India. I also take this opportunity to congratulate NWP for the stupendous success of NWP Andhra Pradesh. I'm sure you would be repeating the same success here in Mumbai. Mumbai is already with open arms to welcome NWP in Maharashtra and Mumbai and make a huge difference. I'm sure that NWP will work extensively into areas which are important for women empowerment. Per se, business, leadership development, sports, and politics. These are the core areas, especially politics, where if women are represented properly, adequately, it will make a huge difference in terms of women empowerment. We all know the famous quote of former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. She said that any woman who understands the problems of running a home will be nearer to understanding the problems running in a country. So I feel so. Women can be the best leaders across the world. But there are some truths which are astounding. A recent study conducted by Inter-Parliamentary Union said that India ranked 149th in the list of 193 countries in terms of women representation in lower or single house, or what we call Lok Sabha. And this report came out in June 2017. The average percentage of women participating or representing in the government across the world is 22%, whereas in India it is 11.8%. Even countries like Zimbabwe, Iraq, Somalia, Saudi Arabia, Fiji, and Ghana rank better than India. Similarly, in the corporate sector across the world, the representation by women is 6%, which is really bad. We need to ponder on this as to how to improve these numbers. And what does all this point out? It points out that we have to get together. We have to stand for ourselves and others so that we can improve this situation. As Noble Lord Layman said, we must continue to unite in sisterhood, to turn our tears into triumph. There is no time to rest until our world achieves wholeness and balance, where all men and women are considered equal and free. I think she has given the right direction to us to work on. In this context, we are lucky that we all are empowered women in our own spaces, in our own sense. So can we use this as a tool to empower other women even further and make a big difference? And to start with, we have to change the mindset of the society. That is the basic fundamental requirement for any society to barge ahead, to move ahead. As Facebook's Cheryl says, when boy asserts himself, society calls him a leader. When a girl does it, she is called bossy. And she remembers this because of her own experience. In school, she was separated by a teacher from her best friend because her teacher believed that she being bossy was a bad influence on this girl. And this made her more revolting, and this made her really sad about the fact that when men are bossy, they are leaders, and when women are bossy, they are bad influence. So I think so we should use all these words. We should correct our actions, especially in families, because it leaves a long-term scar or a positive energy, depending on how you're using your words, action, or showing yourself in front of your children or in front of the society. That matters a lot. And I would like to say here that we have women's councils, we have a Ministry of Women and Child Development, and Pankaja is working so well into it. But only this will not matter. We all need to come together to make this change, which is the most required change, that we have to come together and see to it that you stand, we stand, and everyone stands together. A woman can help another woman, and that is the best form of empowering each other. So here I would just like to end with just one belief, that even if you are a small forest surviving off the moon alone, your light is extraordinary. So please consider yourself as unique. Your light matters, your contribution matters. May it be just a drop in the ocean. It does matter, and that makes waves stronger and bigger. So let's all unite and let's start this movement. I again congratulate Rahul Karat for beginning this movement, and we all women can just take it to another level. So best of luck to all of us, and let's do it together. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you very much, Amrita Fadnavis, for those beautiful words of encouragement and empowerment. May I request Ms. Munde, please, to come up and share her thoughts with us. Thank you very much.
National Women Parliament is organized. It's something very empowering itself. On this dais, a person who inspires not only women but also youth of Maharashtra, and I wish her go beyond that, Amrita Fadnavis ji. My family, my friend, my a youth leader who always wants to do experiments, and he started with student parliament first in India, and now he started with National Women Parliament. So who always experiments, and all these experiments are very successful. So I should call you actually social scientist Rahul Karar. Prakriti Podarji, who is also part of this whole event and motivating women out there, and all these beautiful women who are sitting in front of me. Tanuja ji is there, of course, and very few men who are also looking great. When I go for women-oriented programs, I feel very energetic because the programs are very colorful. And women are so expressive by nature originally that their faces show everything. They are transparent in by genetic problem. I always say it's a women's genetic problem that whatever is in the society, they like it or not, they cannot wear a face or they cannot wear expression which they don't agree with. So when I speak on the stage, I'm always more basically peculiar about what I talk when I go for women program, because I immediately see the reaction in public. Who's sitting next to me? No, yes, yeah, right. So it goes like that. So here I have to be what I am because I am also a woman, and what I think, if I don't talk that, I get very bad digestion problem. So that is the genetics of women. They are very strong with their truthfulness. And that is why women need to come in every part of society, may it be politics, may it be industry, may it be education, may it be any social part where women leaders are there, there's always reality, there is always truthfulness. It's a myth that women cannot do certain things. It was created by society to suppress women over the period of years. And now again we are coming up with this idea that we need to take care of this population which exists for ages since life has come in power. Of course, after women came, then only life came. Then only it started multiplying, then only started reproducing, then only started giving birth. So that life was respected for decades, for centuries. But then there was a part of society which refused these rights to women, and they made these strategies where women cannot step out of the house, women cannot be decision makers, women cannot do this. It's not only in India, it's all over the world. If you study history of world, may it be French, may it be British, may it be any part of the globe, you see how women were treated. Now, most of you are very educated and very technology-friendly women. You all are on Netflix. You know what is going on in the world. You do watch seasons abroad, what is happening. Everybody of you watch Desperate Housewives, Crown, all these serials. But if you see the struggle of women even if she's a queen, even if she's a politician, even if she's CEO of a company, even if she's an actress, even if she's a social activist, her journey, she needs to burn extra calories. Because her journey, she has to start with that extra pump, that extra energy, that, okay, I have to run extra mile than a man. Because this in between, the changes happened in society made her feel that way. But I always feel there are animal rights, there are environmentalists who talk about saving environment. There are people who talk about women's rights. I feel very amazed when they talk about women's rights. I said, see, animals can't speak. They cannot express. Plants can't speak. Environment can't speak for themselves. That's why we need to have a group which will talk about their rights. Can't we speak? Can't we express? Don't we have emotions? Then why you make this taboo of women right, women empowerment, and make it little sympathetic environment towards them? Why can't you treat them equal? In our country, we worship women. 9 दिन नवरात्रि के एक रूप और एक औरत का, एक महिला का सजाया जा सकता है. We love to worship women, but we don't like to respect them. 9 दिन हम आदि शक्ति, अन्नपूर्णा, सारे रूप में जो है वो उसकी पूजा करते हैं. But when we don't want to give them equality, we respect them, but we don't want to give them their freedom of expressing. So I always feel this woman right and all should only talk about equality, not about how women are deprived, because I don't like negative discussions. When I'm here, I represent a woman who is in a world of man. Everybody asks me, how do you feel in this world of man? You're in politics. I said, who said it is a world of man? do you feel insecure? This was a question asked to me. I said, no, they should feel insecure that I am here. Why should I feel insecure? Because they have decided it is their world. Who gave them this right that it is their world? Though women in India, the representation of women, we are in 49th, which Amruta ji correctly said. The study says that we are 49th in the country. We rank 6th in the representation of women. But imagine, see the power we have. We have, not even USA could not give a woman leader, but we have given women prime minister, we have given women president, we have given women chief of all the parties. Our all parties used to be run by women leaders. So that is what we need. We have very high strata of women power. We need to penetrate it now. We need to let it be in every sector equally distributed, so women don't feel, oh, I am woman, that's why I should get this. It should feel, I am human, that's why I should get it. So we should treat them like that. So women के travel के और women के struggle के बारे में 4 लाइनें कहती हूँ. मिल सके आसानी से उसकी ख्वाहिश किसे है, जिद तो उसकी है जो मुकद्दर में लिखा ही नहीं. तो आज की औरत की ये कहानी है. ये कहानी पहली बार शुरुआत से नहीं है, ओरिजिन से नहीं है, ना भविष्य में रहने वाली है. तो हम एक ट्रांजिशन फेज में हैं, जहां हम वो एक वुमेन का ओहदा था जो उसको मिला था एक जमाने में, एक सेंचुरीज पहले, और जो उसको मिलने वाला है बाद में. मैं सेंचुरीज बाद नहीं कहूंगी, डेकेड्स बाद. उसकी जो बीच की हम लोग पाइपलाइन है, तो हम यहाँ से अगर अच्छे से गुजरे और हम हर औरत का हाथ थाम के उसे वो अगर हम पार करें मंजिल और वहां तक पहुंचाएं, तो women future and tomorrow's women's tomorrow will be very bright and very hopeful and very, very happy picture, I can say. I wish all the best to all the women who want to lead in whatever they are doing. And I wish all the men who really want women to lead the best of luck to them also, because it is always, they are part, they are equal. So, you know, sometimes when women go a little weaker, men should help. And when sometimes men go weaker, we will help in future. So we will have men's right. We'll have all this. Now all this is going to be the future. So I would like to announce, after 10 years, I will be addressing National Men's Parliament. So that is the change. Rahul is looking at, Amruta is looking at, and Prakriti is looking at. You all are looking at. Thank you. All the best.
What an invigorating talk. I'm sure what Ms. Munde has shared with us this morning has already begun to influence our minds. And for those of us who are bringing up young girls, and we are mother to young girls, I hope we will share what has just been shared with us this morning. Thank you very much indeed. Before I invite Prakriti Poddar on the stage, I would just like to say that, Ms. Rahatkar, Vijay Rahatkar, who's chairperson of the National Women's Parliament, and she's not here, she's worked very hard towards victims of acid attack. Her work definitely needs a round of applause in her absence, so maybe please, so she knows when she sees this on a video that we have mentioned her and we were remembering her this morning. May I invite, before Prakriti, Mr. Rahul Karad to share a few words with us. And it will be quite a nice change to have a gentleman now speak after the beautiful talk. And Mr. Karad, let me warn you, the notch is very high. And people are awfully impressed, so you have to do something equally good, if not, and it's a tough call, better. Please, Mr. Rahul Karad on the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Janani Janmabhumisha Swargadapi Gariyasi. The First Lady of Maharashtra, Honorable
Mrs. Amrita Fadnavis ji, Honorable Minister Pankaja Munde ji, my friend Dr. Prakriti Poddar from Poddar Foundation, and for the National Women's Parliament, the Chief Strategic Advisor, my team, Dr. Gankar and all MIT, and all the people sitting here in the front row, and all the women sitting at the back side. There are a few men I see here. I must say, after these two very important speeches, I'm a little insecure now. And trust me, before coming here, I was not knowing what is going to exactly happen. Dr. Prakriti Poddar and my team, they were working together. I said, today, I'm not a mehman, I'm not a mezban, I'm a mehman. So it is completely organized by Dr. Prakriti and some of my team members, including Dr. Gankar, whose photo is very much there. So what wonderful this morning, I must say, that these two very important, powerful women, they are sitting on the dais. And of course, there are many, the evolving ladies. I can see a lot of young faces at the back side, and very young faces, some of them from NGOs, from grassroots people also I saw, because city like Bombay, I keep listening. Bombay is a financial capital of the country, and so many things keep happening in this city. It is like ocean. And in the elite class, in five-star hotels, everywhere, very big conferences, every day we keep seeing. But I must tell all the very important ladies sitting here with a few men, that why this National Women's Parliament and what way this National Women's Parliament is different than various such women forum in the country. There are always various chambers. You all know that the FICCI, and they are doing wonderful work. And every such corporate group or a group of people, there is a wing of ladies wing, which is always Indian Merchant Chamber, very old chamber in city of Bombay. And I must tell all of you that Rotary, we all have heard about Rotary, how it functions worldwide. 15 years before, I was not knowing that. I used to think that Rotary is from India, or a Lions Club for that matter. And when the National Women Parliament born in Andhra Pradesh with the help of Chandrababu Naidu ji, Dr. Kodela Rao, who is a speaker of that assembly, and we all worked together. And long back in the year 2005, people laughed on me. Initially, I started one institution called MIT School of Government, which is the first school of the country to develop the future politicians. People said, how can there be a school which can educate youngsters? Because country like India, we require power and money to get into public life. And last 10 to 15 years, I'm consistently saying that we want educated youth to come in public life. Let us not abuse the politicians and political parties, and we want committed, honest youngsters. They should not shy away from polity, and they have to come forward. And with that spirit, this MIT School of Government we started, and just now Honorable Minister also shared about various experiments what this institution, the School of Government, people laughed. Now it has become a story, and with 29 Vidhan Sabhas in the country, the assemblies of the country of 29 states, we are establishing 29 leadership schools in the country. And that was not enough. We felt with all the team members, we evolved one very important another platform called Indian Students Parliament, Bharatiya Chhatra Sansad, for the youth empowerment. And last 2-3 years before, I wrote this concept of National Women's Parliament, and I was quite concerned that in this, our country, in democratic fabric of the nation, if you see, as a social engineer, thank you so much. You motivated me, Honorable Minister, social scientist and whatnot, but I'm a humble worker. Whatever little I'm doing, I don't know. Few things just flash and I just start working, and it becomes a spiritual experience eventually. And very like-minded people like Dr. Prakriti, and how people meet, that is also, I feel very unique. That today, this complete credit, I must say, Dr. Prakriti, she took a lead, and it is happening. And I expect the same thing that I was sharing about a Rotary example. And the ambition is worldwide Rotary or a Lions Club. There is no Indian 120 crore population today, but we do not have a single original such our own. Always whatever West throws, we feel very happy. And West is very beautiful at their organizing, and worldwide there any such concept they promote, and worldwide it penetrates so beautifully. And our ambition here that the National Women's Parliament in days to come, we want to have various chapters in the country, and not just a chapter for the elite, but I was just shared in my previous talk that some NGOs have come forward. How do we really take this idea to the bottom of this country? How do we really connect this all very powerful women here sitting with the NGOs and the society and with the skill development, what this government is talking, what the previous government also was talking. So that is the ambition of National Women's Parliament. So National Women's Parliament, empowering women for participatory democracy is a tagline. So what is a democracy? What we talk about? And I always believe, Honorable Minister, that in this country, these are 4-5 important, I think you all are very wise women sitting here, that I always feel we are agrarian economy. We should not forget that. We are agrarian economy. These are very 4-5. And so agriculture, the most important. We as a farmers, we are today in Bombay, but Bombay is not Maharashtra or Bombay is not India. Financial capital, a great city, which is on the international map today. The second is all the minorities in the country. To strengthen our democratic fabric, the minorities in the country, the Muslims or Christians, we have to protect. We have to make them secure and really make them feel that, yes, we are a very homogeneous society. So this is number 2, agriculture, minorities. Third is the Dalits, the backward classes in the country. How do we, I don't understand, the Britishers ruled us. Just 70 years before, we were getting, so many, they ruled us, the kind of dominating behavior. We have all passed through that. And after the independence, what we have achieved, we all a part of this, very Dilip Bhai is here, I think the senior most here I could see. And this transformation, how it is happening. So I think we do casteism in our country. And once upon a time, they as a white and we as a black, they dominated us. I don't understand. We as a global society now, we have to really think that how do we, so third is the Dalits, I said. And fourth important, I feel, the women empowerment. I think in your speeches, Honorable Minister, Madam Amrita ji, you also shared your mind. And I feel that, sometimes it becomes, my wife is also sitting here in the front row here. She handling a hospital. And it really, in our Puranas, in our so many things, we talk about women empowerment. We pray the goddesses. We pray, so many things in our day-to-day behavior. We try to talk, but in our behavior. And it is a really reminder for me also, because as very beautifully Pankaj ji said, who is doing women empowerment? Many times it happens that when we say Independence Day, I don't understand. 15th August independence. What is independence? Who gave independence to whom? Who is there to give independence? So can we change? I even requested Honorable Prime Minister, can we change this Independence Day word to some other? Who has given British? They have given independence to us to live in this nation or in this society. So very, very fundamental thoughts. I think you shared very beautifully that. Who is empowering whom or what? It was a very interesting thought. So I think agriculture, minority, Dalits and Muslims. So the spirit and with that spirit, I think empowering women for participatory democracy. But trust me, all dear, all the very powerful women sitting here, that as I shared sometime before also, because Bombay is something very different. But if you go to semi-urban areas or rural areas, there are so many challenges, so many issues in the society. And women empowerment is so needed, I can tell you. And you all have to take a lead and go to that level, And someday, I wish that this National Women's Parliament, this is the first very historic day, I feel. It is not just a elite one fine morning, Honorable Minister and Amrita ji, that, you all have come. Definitely, you have empowered us. But this very humble and a very beautiful beginning, I must say, it will be a milestone in the days to come. That is our belief. And that with that conviction, we are working. And Almighty knows now how it will evolve. But with the strength of people like Dr. Prakruti and many of you here, you all have to come forward, and that like-minded such women, we all have to come forward, and we have to take this vision ahead. So without taking too long, just now you saw the little film in Andhra Pradesh, 18,000 women. Chandrababu ji, great, he funded that complete idea, and he said, Mr. Karad, we want to host this idea. And I think just now I was sharing with Amrita ji, and Amrita ji also said she is going to speak definitely on this also. I think you shared that Maharashtra, if can host this idea, because Maharashtra is a financial capital and Bombay is a financial capital. I think something, if happens here in this state or this city, it goes worldwide. So definitely we require your support. take this vision and idea to the next level. And I wish best of luck to all of you for the whole day. I think there are quite beautiful sessions they are organized. There are some very important awards we are giving, and very respected Tanuja is here. We welcome you, madam. I think there are many other respected women sitting here, and I think we have seen, when we were kids, and you are here, so we are really honored. All the media people sitting and everybody from different walks of life, and all the students and all the NGOs and social organizations, I give my respect to all of you that this morning you all have gathered with so much of enthusiasm, and we continue with the same enthusiasm in days to come. And we hope that this Bombay chapter becomes a very important beginning to establish many such chapters, which will get connected with various NGOs and social institutions in the country. That is a difference. This should not be just an elite group. I must tell you, all the ladies, we have to get connected with the downtrodden and the grassroots of this country. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, Mr. Karad. Everyone enjoyed what you said. And because you were the male speaker, may I add a personal thought here, and this is an impromptu thought. It's not a part of the script. I think empowerment begins at home, with the senior-most male member in the house, when he believes that a woman is born empowered. She doesn't need to be empowered. After all, a woman gives life, and what is bigger empowerment than that? So let me now continue with the day's session. I'm about to introduce you to a person, or the person, who is the strategy behind the National Women's Parliament. Her only mission in life is to make other people's life better. Whether it is as managing director of Mind Over Image Consulting, which has an emotional wellness center, as well as a corporate and educational wellness consultancy, or as the managing trustee of the very well-recognized Poddar Foundation, which works towards breaking the stigma and silence around mental health disharmony. This is a topic that has now come into discussion, because a woman's emotional health prior to this was never spoken about. It was a stigma and a taboo. And what Dr. Prakriti Poddar is trying to achieve is exactly that. She is also the creator of a peace program at MIT, WPU, and Prakriti's role charts out new avenues for healing. According to her, women need mass healing, and only a platform such as this can deliver that. Please welcome Dr. Prakriti Poddar on the stage with the loudest round of applause. Thank you very much. Rahulji, would you please felicitate Prakriti before we get her onto the stage, because this is really a very special felicitation. Thank you very much.
I think it was quite a beautiful introduction of Dr. Prakriti, but in one line I want to say that in the mental health is a very important subject in the country. We all know that. And Dr. Prakriti comes in the country in among top 5 to 7 important people in the mental health area. She's working very hard for that. And I compliment for her efforts that, under the Poddar Foundation, what she's working at all levels. Thank you, Dr. Prakriti, for taking this initiative and opening the Bombay chapter. Please. Thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome. I'm so excited to see such a large audience here. When we decided to do the Mumbai chapter, And we actually decided with Rahulji that National Women's Parliament cannot remain just an event that takes place once a year. And he has pushed me, let me tell you, it's not been easy. He has pushed me every day to say, "Aap kya soch rahe ho? Aap kya soch rahe ho?" And I'm like, "मैं सोच रही हूँ." Time लगता है सोचने में, सोच रही हूँ. There is a strategy behind what we're doing. And so I have to say that when we decided this, it was not easy because we had competition initially, because he kept saying, "But there's this women's organization and there's that women's organization and they're doing such good work." And I'm like, "No, they're not doing what we're doing. They're not doing participatory democracy." So when we come together in this platform, we are actually mobilizing people to have a voice, to make a difference, and not just to talk. Our basic agenda at the National Women's Parliament is to bring up issues, but to also find a resolution for those issues, which is not something even a Rotary Inner Wheel is doing, or even sort of the women's networking groups, because they all come together. And one of the things we had done was talk to some of these groups. And they said, "Yes, you know, we love meeting each other." And I'm like, "Okay, what do you do after that? What do you do after you meet each other?" They're like, "No, we have great speakers." I'm like, "And what do you do after you have great speakers?" And they're, "We have a good time. There's good food." And I'm like, "Okay." So there's no competition here. I mean, National Women's Parliament is completely different, and we're excited to be part of it. So in the first National Women's Parliament, I met Rahulji. Of course, he had no idea who I am because I'm not somebody who actually comes out into the limelight. And he was like, "Pata nahi kaun hai, aane do, chalo, let's see what she says." And so on the dais, even on the first one, I kept harping on the fact that why are we talking about reservations? We have to change the mindsets of every woman who is part of India, because India has made the woman become suppressed, even though their spirits are so large. I have never met women with such large spirits as I have in India. And it is unfortunate that we haven't mobilized this kind of an endeavor before. Before I go further, when we started talking about what is it and who do we want to invite in Mumbai, one of the first thoughts was, okay, we need to get the women in power involved. And one of the keynotes, and Rahulji's already mentioned this, is that it is not for only the elite. This platform is a completely flat platform. This platform invites all the other women groups onto it. It invites all the NGOs who are working for women onto it. It invites all the youth. And we have NWP, National Women Parliament troopers, who will take this forward. We're trying to build that kind of synergy. But most importantly, I have to say, and this is quite different from Mumbai City, so I'd like you to all, after I finish, to give Mumbai City a hand. But we started with a cold call to Vijaya ji. We did not know whether she was even going to take our call. We called her up and said, "Vijaya ji, we're from the National Women's Parliament, and we'd like you to collaborate with us as knowledge partners." She did not even miss a heartbeat. She did not even think for a moment. She said, "Of course, aa jao." The first time I met her, I showed her our book, because we have a very, very special book that talks about our previous event. And I said, वहाँ पे 18,000 ladies आए थे और बहुत वहाँ पे energy थी. And she said, "And what do you want here?" I said, "थोड़ा हम लोग invite कर लेंगे 300-400 लोगों को यहाँ पे." She was like, "क्या ये महाराष्ट्र है? यहाँ पे तो 30,000 लोग आएंगे. तुम 300 के बारे में बात कर रहे हो?" I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Vijaya ji, just give me 6 months. Okay, we will do that, but I want the inauguration to happen. I want powerful women to understand what is it that we want to do so that they can come on board, and we will mobilize all the chapters after that." And she said, "We have our NGO partners, and we've actually got those NGO partners with us. They're all sitting there. They're talking about what they do. In fact, I had somebody who came here and said, we clean up mobiles because there's a lot of radiation and negativity that comes from there. They're also there giving these services." When I decided then after that, okay, but now who are the important people that we need to talk to? We first approached Amrita ji. I have to say, the warmth and generosity of time of her belief, as you can tell, in the need for the National Women's Parliament was so overwhelming. We were so grateful to her for opening up her doors. She gave us full access to her PAs and said, "Jo bhi aapko chahiye, aap kar lo yahan pe. Whatever it is that you want, make sure it happens." She even told us who all to talk to and who all she could invite, and we thought that was a great help. Please give her a round of applause for that. Pankaja ji, I must say, it was amazing that you connected all the dots so effortlessly. Our team went to her probably for 5 minutes, probably, and that's all it needed. 5 minutes, she was like, "Women in child development, yahan pe inko phone karna, fir aise karna, okay, go meet them, strategize, figure out what you want, and run with it." I have never seen such efficiency with men. I was beyond impressed. And, for someone like me who's never been involved with anybody in the political landscape, I was like, why do people grumble? Because there is no way that people in the corporate world mobilize such efforts so fast. I'd like to give a big hand to even the government and people who are sort of inspiring the government and working with the government to bring these kind of things to light. So National Women's Parliament, I'm going to come to that now. What is our basic need? What do we want? Why are you all here? There were people who we decided to meet, women who were really working very hard and tirelessly, and you will meet them as they will be awarded. And they helped us connect with the kind of women that we needed to connect with in order to mobilize ourselves further. They have women groups together. As you can see, we're partners with some. Together, we walk, me and you is one of them. How many here are from there? Together we walk? Quite a few? Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And there have been many people who helped us, like Rani Podarji and Kalpana ji, and a whole lot of women that you will also get in touch with. They told us, you're the people to meet. Go ahead. And they blessed us with what we're here to do. So we're very thankful for that. And I must say, I do mental health, as they said, and we do corporate wellness. And in the corporate world, it is a very different story. In the corporate world, women are not helping each other. And we want to bring about a change in that. There is so much, competition. And competition helps pull each other down instead of uplifting them. We want to change that entire mindset. So here, when we are here and we come on the platform, we need to make sure that we raise the platform by bringing together our own emotional strengths, our own USPs when working towards that. Our chief patron, who's our chief patron for life, Mrs. Ela Bhatt, has done a lot, and I'm sure all of you know what Seva has done and is continuing to do. So I'd like you to give Seva as well a big round of applause. Today, we are looking for women to join as members and to become office bearers of our parliament in Mumbai. We are looking for people who get motivated and inspired and say, hey, you know what? I want to join the chapter, and what part can I play in it? So here's the role. We have people who need to connect with NGOs. We need people who can connect with the students. We need people who can mobilize all the different commissions that are there. We need people to liaison with the government. We need thinkers. We need people who are writers, bloggers. We need all these people to come together. We have our first lot of people, but we need to have a continuous chain. So I'd like to tell you that we have currently opened other chapters as well. In fact, Chandigarh has had 2 meetings already. They're already moving ahead. But Mumbai, this is the first inaugural session, and we are going to have a closed-door meeting after this. Not today. Today's up to 4. But after that, we're going to have a closed-door meeting with the volunteers who come forward to work with us to bring this to light and to expose this, because we have the support. As you can see, we have the support of an entire backbone which is strong. So we need to be able to bring that to light. So we need your assistance. I do not want this to be a day where you come and sit and listen. I need this to be the day where you come, you sit, you listen, you're inspired, and you join. So thank you very much, Mumbai.
Thank you, Prakriti. She really is the epitome of youth, of enthusiasm and effectiveness. For those of you in the audience who have young daughters, sisters, friends, do mention to them that it is these young women in India who are making a change. So thank you so much, all of you, for listening to this session. I'd like to say a very, very special thanks to Ms. Amrita Fadnavis, Ms. Munde, Mr. Karad, for being on the stage. We are preparing ourselves for the next session. Our guests will be ushered back to the seats. And would you give us a few moments, please, to just set up for the next session? Thank you very much for being here again. Thank you very much. Mr. Karad might like to say something, so
what I suggest that let us have a beautiful photograph. If we all can, Dr. Prakriti, along with the minister and Madam Amrutaji, if we can stand here. And all of you, I request to stand and just cheer up so that it can have a good selfie photograph we can propagate through social media quickly.
What a good idea. Let's do that. Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, would you please settle down now, because we must carry on with the day. We have a schedule to follow and some timings to meet. May I request everybody to now please be seated as we prepare for the next session.
तुम ही माता, तुम ही ममता, तुम ही आधार, तुम ही त्राता, तुम
May I have your attention, please? Ladies and gentlemen, I will have to request you to please take your seats. We can do some photo ops in a while, but in the meantime, we need to get our afternoon organized. So if you please return to your seats. A quick request for everyone to please return to your seats. Please return to your seats. Thank you very much. Kindly return to your seats. A quick request, please return to your seats. Thank you very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, my final request to all of you, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly be seated. Please be seated so that we may be able to begin our next session without any further delay. Thank you very much. Ladies, please sit down so that we may be able to progress with what we have for the rest of the day. Thank you very much. I request all the ladies to please be seated. There'll be many opportunities to talk, meet, and take photographs with our guests. Please be seated. Thank you. With your permission, may we start our next session, please? All the ladies who've congregated in the front, would you please allow Tanuja ji some space because she is going to come up and talk to us later. Please allow Tanuja ji to get some rest before we start our next session. Thank you very much indeed. Mrs. Charulata Ravikumar, would you please come up to the stage? Thank you very much. Mrs. Charulata Ravikumar, you are requested to come up to the stage, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. We are starting our next session. May I request everyone to please take your seats. I hope you're settled now. It's wonderful to see women so excited to meet other women. It's so nice to see women feeling happy to meet other women. And especially when we have ladies like Tanuja ji sitting here with so many fans. I mean, I grew up watching her films. And as a Bengali, I must tell you, Mrs. Mukherjee's Bengali is better than Tanuja Mukherjee. Hold on. Okay, I stand to be corrected. Oh, wonderfully said. As an Indian, Tanuja Mukherjee has mastered Bengali as well as other languages. A round of applause to this. I'll tell you what, because I think national integration is when you marry into another community and you absorb that culture, which is commendable, I think. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there is a plethora of issues waiting to be discussed when it comes to the term women's empowerment. I do not wish to dwell on the statistics or figures, but discuss how we can collectively move the women into feeling empowered to participate in a democracy. With this train of thought, I'd like to hand over the proceedings to Charulata Ravikumar, who's on the stage. A brief introduction to Charulata. Now, most of you might know her as one of the most sought after CEOs and advisors in this country. But how many know her as the most gregarious magnet, as I like to call her? People are drawn to her effortlessly, a trait she employs without hesitation or motivation. She is an advisor, entrepreneur, columnist, mentor, and always curious. Charulata is currently the Director of Digital Marketing and Metrics Program at the SP Jain School of Global Management. She is the only, and please listen to this in silence, Charulata Ravikumar is the only transformational leader in digital technology. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. So I welcome Charulata Ravikumar to the panel. Thank you for being here. And so very beautiful. This is a congregation of beautiful women. Beauty begins inside, and then it shows up in the exterior. It doesn't matter in how our eyes and nose and faces are shaped, but what we seem to other people. Along with Charulata is Vinitha Ved Singhal, who is the Secretary of the Women and Child Development. Wherever she goes, her efficiency in handling problems have been hugely appreciated. Her office is all praised for her effective and brilliant functioning. She may take a while to arrive here because I'm told some of our guests are, unfortunately, we all know Mumbai's traffic situation, so she may be on her way. Indira Mallo is the chairperson of Mahila Arthik Vikas Mahamandal. Its acronym is MAVIM, a self-help group movement in Maharashtra. This organization has worked tirelessly for the development of women. It has devised policy, mechanisms, and behind it all is this lady who has resolutely stood and made things work. Mechanisms are not easy to achieve. She has worked tirelessly for the development of women, and it has devised policy mechanisms, and behind it all is this lady who has resolutely stood and made things work. A round of applause for Ms. Mallo, please. Welcome this morning. Our next guest is Manisha Girotra, the banker and role model for so many young girls who come a long way from passing off as secretaries by all the men in black in the room to doing mergers, and now the CEO of Moelis and Company. A round of applause to Manisha Girotra, please. And how beautiful she looks this morning. I would like to welcome another guest who's also on her way, and she is Dolly Thakur. Dolly Thakur needs no introduction for most of us in Mumbai. She is a very exposed face. She is the theatre personality, the voice on radio, and the newsreader on Bombay Doordarshan. Of course, this was in the past. She's also a writer, a columnist. Dolly's passion is, of course, stage and social work. She is the coordinator for the Ladli Girl Child campaign and numerous other NGOs. So may we give a round of applause to Dolly in her absence, please. She should be here very shortly. Radha Kapoor Khanna is the design thinker and founder of Dice Designs. This very space we are all using is her creation. Thank you, Radha Kapoor, for this beautiful space. And last but not the least, and I kept this as a special announcement, for a high-achieving woman, somebody you see very often on television, whose vocabulary, whose oratory skills, and whose tact needs little introduction. Abha Singh, the most sought after advocates, as well as a renowned social activist who has contributed significantly in the realm of women's rights. May I have a round of applause for all these wonderful ladies that make India such a proud country. Thank you very much indeed. Charulata Ravi Kumar is now going to begin. I'm sure we are all going to enjoy listening to all these high-achieving women we have on the stage this morning. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Can you all hear me?
Do I need to get no? So this needs to get a little louder. Can I get a hand mic instead? Yeah, it's because one more. Yeah, I guess. No. Guess I'm loud enough now. Thank you. Just a quick word of caution. I had a slight attack of an asthma last night, so I may have some intermittent coughs. Bear with me. I'll be fine and we'll pull through this because you have so many interesting people to listen to. Just ignore my cough for the time being. Just a quick one before we start. The topic was on participatory democracy, and I thought with such a large audience, I quickly kind of pulled out some information that I would like to share with you, saying what really is participative democracy. It's a little different from representative democracy. So just setting a quick context here before we move to discussions with the panel. It basically emphasizes the broad participation of constituents in the direction and operation of social, cultural, and political systems and frameworks, right? So all three need to kind of converge together. And towards this, typically in a democracy, there is participation by the people. And that is not the kind of democracy which we're talking about when we say participatory, because we're seeking far more active, very active, voluntary participation by people towards this. So that's the subtle difference between it. So when we refer to this in our discussions, you will understand where we're coming from. And kind of tends to advocate more involved forms of participation from across the board. In India, we've made some really big strides in participation democracy. And you've seen it all around you, a lot more in the urban centers. I've traveled a lot to the rural markets, and I make it a point to really kind of capture that in my columns and track the democracy evolution in the rural markets, which is obviously lagging behind. We heard from the earlier speakers. And it's important to know that what you see around you, of course, we've made huge strides across. But in terms of participatory democracy, especially in the context of policies, what's happened is the implementation towards empowerment of women, right, has been the topic that has actually taken precedence in the last probably 2 to 3 years. And that's become very vital for everyone to come together and drive this. And I'm really happy because most panels that I moderate, I tend to see people who are interested in it, but no, the absence of policy makers from those panels. And today, I think it's a great participation where we have people who've cut through that glass ceiling, who've really shattered some of those myths and those shackles that we've got, as well as people who've represented, who are working towards others being risen up to the same level, and people who are policymakers as well. And I think that's the best panel to have, because here is where decisions are going to be made. It's only the beginning of the journey. It's a lot more that needs to be unfurled. So I'm going to start my conversation with the panelists with some quick rounds of questions. And after that, because we're talking about participatory, I would like all of you to participate. I think it's incomplete if we do not have the participation from such a fantastic, enthusiastic audience. Please feel free to ask them questions post the session. Keep that kind of jotted down, and we will, and also tell us who you're addressing it to, so we know who should take the mic, right? So thank you so much. And a quick thank you also to Ma'am Tanuja. I'm really happy to see you here. I just mentioned to you that saw you in our house in Calcutta when you were shooting with Mr. Victor Banerjee for a film. And I remember I was young. I stopped the shoot because I was so enthusiastic about meeting you. I didn't want the shoot to go on. You were really nice about it. You stopped it and you gave me a lot of time. You, to me, embody a lot of grace, poise, and inner beauty. That absolutely is an inspiration for all generations. I'm so happy to see you. So I'm going to start with a quick round of questions. Vinita, my first question would be to you. I would like to talk about, ask you this one little thing, saying that you've spent so many years. Sorry, Vinita's not coming. Should I hold the question for? She's not coming. Okay, so I'll move on. Okay, I'm going to pass this question on to Indra Malu. So the question comes to you. If you can throw a little bit of light for the audience on what has MAVIM done, what are the policy changes that you've been able to implement, and how has that impacted in terms of results and outcome? So give us a little perspective of that, and we'll take the conversation on from there.
Thank you, Charulata, for the question. I am representing Mavim. Mavim is the Mahila Arthik Vikas Mahamandal, and this is a registered not-for-profit company. It's a government of Maharashtra undertaking. This is, bear with me, so I'll give you a little bit kind of background. It was established in the year 1975, and then since 1993 particularly, we have been working with the SHG Bank linkage for women. So that is a big part of our financial inclusion strategy. And we have been busy in developing women as community cadres, right from the first generation of Sayoginis to community resource persons, to Pashu Sakhis, to Kaida Sathis, to Internet Sathis, to, farm, helpers in convergence with private partners. And in fact, I am happy to say that we have been successful in establishing 361 registered societies and trusts, which are federations of these SHG women. These women are basically coming from the BPL category, from also participatory rural appraisal BPL categories, which includes a lot of scheduled castes, a lot of scheduled tribes, a lot of women from the OBC, and other depressed classes who are at the margins of society. And I would just like to highlight here that one such CMRC which is running in Mumbai, the Ghe Bharari CMRC, is today present in the audience. That's right. That's our women there. And so this is just one example of what Mavim has been able to achieve in the ground. We reach out to over 1 lakh SHGs in the whole state, in all the 34 districts, in around 250 urban local bodies. And in that, we have access to around almost 12 lakh women at present. And we have had good successes with the ICICI Bank in terms of bank leverage. And so the other point is that we have been able to trying to make this CMRCs, the community managed resource centers, which are federations really, as effective business facilitators through bank linkage. So one is financial inclusion through SHGs, the other one is empowerment of women. All these, the community cadre which I mentioned, for that the women have shown that what it has done, it has given them recognition and status within the household, in the local community. So it has kind of really, empowered them. And in running these federations, they run it themselves. They have been, 80% of them have been able to cover their costs, operational costs. So actually, as a government undertaking, we are not giving them any subsidy, but they are earning their own, operational costs.
Is there a quick question on this? Are there restrictions on who can enroll for this program? Is it extended to just anybody or certain
it is kind of focused on those who are economically and socially backward. So if you are an above poverty line affluent person, you would probably not join it because there is also the question of group homogeneity. But it is basically focused for the those who are weak.
Ensure the training and learning development of these women to pick up and run the organization by themselves?
For that, we focus on all the, the Panchashutri of the SHG, in terms of bookkeeping, in terms of regular meetings, in terms of interloaning. So at present, around more than 85% of the groups have loans. They have to have active loans. They have to have active interloaning within themselves of what credit they have been able of savings on savings. So those are one thing. Those are things, and then they have to be annually audited as well. So they have to have their books of accounts because they are linked with the banks and all. And in terms of the other skill training, we have convergence with different departments also, as well as with the private sector. So with departments like, say, in agriculture, you had mentioned agriculture as a very big thing. So I'm happy to announce that our main activities are in goat rearing, in milch animals, which are agri and allied. So in that, we have a lot of help from Krishi Vikas Kendras and all. Yeah.
So that's an area that we can all kind of get together, us women sitting here can get together and provide our support to you and your organization as well, and the schemes, right, in terms of skilling up the women and supporting them. Thank you so much. I'll come back to you with a few more questions. Radha, I'm going to catch you for a question right now. I think it's a question on a lot of people's minds when we look at you saying, You come from a very privileged banking family, but you got out of that and said, I'm going to make a mark on the world with design innovation. And that's a huge step forward in terms of really saying, let's think differently, right? And you have access to a lot of the more privileged young people in the country. How can you kind of provide that push for these privileged youth to hold hands with those less privileged and kind of not keep thinking about themselves because they're fairly adequately provided for, but start thinking about communities and societies outside of them? It's just maybe
Hello. It's a great honor to firstly, have this and host this at a school premises. And we're all sort of looking to sort of, create a supportive ecosystem for women. So it's a great beginning for that. So I believe, sort of growing up, I think gender equality actually begins at home. So I think I was really fortunate to have parents and have a supporting father who always sort of, pushed us and told us you can be anything you want to be. So I think having that, sort of made me sort of realize that I can sort of pursue my passion. So I think today it's all about converting your passions into your sort of, business sort of careers. So when I actually went on to study design, which I think at that point in time wasn't really given that respect, right? And even today we're kind of dabbling with creative careers where they haven't really been given that kind of respect, for whatever reason, because people don't understand the kind of hard work that actually goes into creativity as well. So I think I kind of wanted to build a platform where I could sort of give the youth of India the opportunity to actually pursue their passions into sort of careers. So be it, sort of design, media, communication, and basically launches for entrepreneurship as well. So we're all about sort of fostering and promoting creative entrepreneurship and also building a startup ecosystem to sort of promote design, innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship, what we call is DICE. So I think I think it really begins also with our curriculum. I think sort of having students sort of sort of be more sort of socially able, sort of doing rural immersion programs, so actually getting them to have compassion and sort of understanding what are the issues today of national importance which can be taken on and actually sort of convert into a sort of some sort of business model. So I think definitely getting the youth sort of more immersed in that for sure. And of course I think digital skills. So I think having them technology enabled, like a snap, right? So social, mobile, analytics and cloud. So providing such digital skills would actually line up with corporates like Adobe and IBM and provide design and digital softwares to actually create academy for skills for people of all sort of social economic backgrounds.
Absolutely. And Rajesh, to add to what you were saying, I think technology has been a great leveler, in fact, in bringing together the fact that there's a lot more equilibrium achieved because of technology. And I, in fact, recently wrote about something called Technogents, where women who are involved in technology in any way are making huge strides ahead. And that's enabling them. But I want to come back to creativity for a moment, because women by nature seem to be very, very creative. It's inherent in us. But creative as a field was earlier thought of as something as a safe place for women to take up a profession. But it never came mainstream. It didn't really find its right place under the sun. And I think it's time now to bring that into mainstream. Can I just hear your views on that in terms of how do we bring that into mainstream? Because that will ensure a lot of women can actually find their rightful place.
I think we're already seeing that change, right? There's a lot of creativity in business as well, right? So be it service design, product design. I mean, nowadays you actually heard of like designations and roles like chief creative officer, chief design officer, chief innovation officer. And I think women are playing a really big role out there. And I think also the advent of companies which are born out of the Silicon Valley networks, your Ubers and Airbnbs, which are actually designed founders. So I think there's a great hope for sort of design to actually be a game changer in India as well. So people can actually take that on as a career option as well.
And another quick one with you is, do you feel the societal pressure still comes in the way for women to take up the careers of their choice?
I don't think so. I think it's something, if you're sort of, have that sort of drive and, sort of passion, I think nothing should really come in your way. And there's a lot of supportive ecosystems out there now. We're actually, in fact, we just worked recently with API to launch the Women Entrepreneurship Platform. We've also designated a special fund, a 10-crore fund, which should be designated just for women-led ventures. So any of you women out there who would want to apply through a fund, through accelerator, you need access to sort of resources, markets, we're there to support all of you. So we're happy to launch that initiative.
Great, super. So take that up as an offer and follow it through. Manisha, I'm going to bring folks to you now, right? And is your mic working? Just testing.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Can everyone hear that? That's important. Manisha, you've made a huge impact and difference. Not so much just only from the industry point of view, that of course is the evidence is all out there, but also from a society's perception point of view, right? And at a time when women were not in this industry, you've been one of the first women to really take that leadership torch, forging ahead. And tell us about your journey there a little bit. How difficult was that to make that impact, to have the questioning eyes kind of being answered in a very quiet, gentle, powerful way that only you can do?
Thank you for that. But just to tell you, I started my career about 26 years ago in banking. And when I used to enter the room, unlike what Radha just said, there would just be men. The men were clients, the men were my colleagues, everyone were men. And people would ask me, who am I? And they would say, are you a secretary? Because that's the best you can get to. And this is when I was the boss of the firm. But that didn't matter, right? The best I got to was, are you a journalist, right? That was the ultimate compliment. So people just couldn't relate to a woman as a banker because, you're not supposed to understand balance sheets or do M&A. Typically, a woman's role was that of nurturing. And even if you came outside and wanted to do a job, it would be that of a teacher, a nurse, or a doctor. Beyond that, acting was one of the few areas where women did very well. And, that is something you should talk about. But really, outside of these three professions, women were just not there. So it was a huge challenge. People wouldn't shake my hand. I would enter, everyone would shake hands. They would do namaste to me. They would not make eye contact. Yeah, no, they weren't scared. They just didn't know what to do with this person, right? They wouldn't make eye contact with me. So, if you asked me a question, I would look at you and they would look at my colleague. They wouldn't make eye contact because it was just like, what is this person doing here amongst all of us, right? So it was a huge challenge. There were no women's bathrooms in most of the offices, right? So they were like, either hold your bladder or just, do whatever you want to do. But, so it was a really difficult time from where you start, Radha. And, Radha just said, look, nothing can come between you and the society. It wasn't like that when I started, because when you got married, you had kids, you were automatically meant to quit. When I came back to work after my daughter, it was seen as an extremely strange phenomena. And frankly, I too was kind of apologetic about having a young child. I would carry her to meetings, hide her in a hotel with the nanny, with the nanny or the nanny as the case may be. So, I tried to be conformist too. I wanted to conform into a man's world like a man. I was almost apologetic about the fact that I was married or had kids. And, it was just a part of my life I didn't want to talk about. Switch to today, and I think things have really changed. People like Radha are really leading the light on that. And today people want to retain women talent. People want to attract women talent, and so things are changing. We're trying to do everything in our efforts to get women to come to work and stay at work, especially when they have babies. So maternity leave, paternity leave, childcare leave, creches. Work from home, work offline, all of that is being done 5-day week, which is very important for women. So I think things have changed and I'm really happy about that. Has it changed across all sectors? I'm not sure. Financial services, retail are some of the sectors which are leading the light, manufacturing sort of kind of following. So I see a lot of hope, but I think unlike Radha, I would say a lot of the mindset at home needs to be changed. I think I see that in my colleagues too. When we start hiring, we start with equal gender, i.e. we start with equal number of girls and boys at work. But you come into mid-30s, women have their kids, and there's an inevitable push from home, or there's your own guilt that, look, I need to step back. And I think that's the mindset we are struggling with, because, you know, we all have crashes in office. You can work out of home. We are doing all of that, but still in India, unfortunately, as the woman gets into the mid-30s, you lose them in huge numbers.
I believe the numbers are roughly about 70% or so that they drop out.
It's about 82%. Correct, yeah.
About 80%. So that's really high. And I want to add to that, because I'm from probably the same kind of era that you are, Misha, and I know how difficult it was when I had a child. The choices that we're faced with is, do we drop our careers or do we move on and stay right there and hold on? And it's a tough choice, and no choice is wrong as long as it's a choice that we really want for ourselves. And that's something I have really always maintained, that, you know, if my sister, for example, wanted to just give up a job and stay with her kids and look after the home, no wrong choice as long as it was a choice she really wanted. Now that's really important. But I took my son with me to work for the first year, because I did not want to leave him at home alone. So every day, 9:30 to 6:30, my help and my son were with me at work in all the meetings, all the board meetings, everything, and they traveled with me everywhere for a year and a half. So that was a great victory in a way, but it was hard. And then I look back and pat myself, it was really hard. Dolly, one of my favorite persons is sitting here. Dolly, to you. You want to just test the mic as well?
We just take that. We take this.
I love to talk about bringing up a child and what you said, because I don't know how many, I belong to a totally different generation, okay? None of you would really know the times that I have worked and won my place as a woman in the communications world, in the films division world, etc. I used to do a program called Glaxo Bonnie Baby Time. And now the babies don't come and say anything, but 50-year-old fathers come to me and say, we were brought up on Bonnie Baby Time. And I get them at airports, I get them at stations, I get a whole lot of them. And so when I was doing Glaxo Bonnie Baby Time, my son had just been born. He's now 40 years old. And I used to take Quasar in a sling initially. And for about 2 months, I took him in a sling wherever I went. And we used to travel to 11 or 12 cities all over India. And the gynecologist or the pediatrician would be the one that I would be interviewing in a hotel room. And the wife or the husband of that pediatrician would then look after Quasar and change his nappy or give him a feeding bottle. So that's how I brought up my son. Later, of course, it became, there was a carry cot and then a sling. And then when I used to take him to Doordarshan, because I used to read the news on Doordarshan at that time, he would be sitting below. I mean, he's so well behaved. I had no disturbance from the child. And the producers all allowed him to sit in the room while I was talking, and he'd be sitting over there on the platform.
Yeah.
And but as a result of which, my son, at the age of 8 or 9, there used to be a program called Wonder World about a black little boy and things. And so he said, and he used to watch that, and he said, "Mama, can't I be a latchkey baby?" Because I used to drag him to all my meetings and things, and he hated that. He said, "Your meetings are so boring. Can't I be a latchkey baby?" But of course, we never did that. So I've been a hands-on working mother right through. I didn't do a 9 to 5 like perhaps most people did. Mine was mostly freelance, and but my woman's self was allowed to express itself, play itself, and I never had a problem. I know when I started commentating for films division, there were very few women there. There were mostly men. But I know that the two of us that were there in films division, we fought and we said, no way, we need to be able to do it. And now, as you can see in the broadcasting world, there are very few men, there are mostly women.
Doug, I have a question on the times that you went through, okay? You've been, I've seen your plays, Vijaya Monologues, and I've interacted so much with you, and I know you're very vociferous about what you believe in and about how women should be treated and all of that. How difficult was it for a maverick like you in your younger days to really kind of push your way through with those ideas and try and make a change happen?
You know, life has been very easy for me. I've never had to fight for anything. And I think this is a lot to do with the kind of people I moved around with and to me. But I've never had to stretch my hand for anything, ask for anything. It's all come to me. And I wish more women would have that kind of courage. Because I think if you have the courage, then people are willing to accept you for what you are. You know? And now Vagina Monologue, when now we've been running it for 16 years. And we have 6 shows of it every month. And when we first did it 16 years ago, an 80-year-old man, of course I was younger then, an 80-year-old man came onto the stage at Prithvi Theatre, and he touched our feet and my feet and said, "I'm so happy to be alive, that God has given me this." And those days people died at 80, now they live on till 96 and things. And he said, "I'm so glad that people are now, that God has given me life, that I can see how far the Indian woman has got." And that was one of the nicest compliments that one could have had. And in the play that we do, though, how many of you have seen Vagina Monologue? Oh, there's still more than 50% who haven't seen it. So it is well worth seeing, and I would advise you all to please go and see it.
I would totally agree. It's so relevant to the topic
It's
we're talking
very.
about.
And so, and we have subjects of. Forgive my voice. I've got a bad throat today, huh? So.
Do you want to grab some water?
I'll do that when I want it to. I don't want it just now. No, but the point is that when there are stories in the dialogues in Vagina Monologue about child abuse, molestation, women being raped by men in their own household. And often we have girls crying in the auditorium because it triggers off a memory. And the last time we were there, a girl fainted. So we had to stop the show, take her backstage, and then we found out that her sister had been raped by her uncle. And when they told the mother, one wanted to confront the parents about it, and the mother said, "Nahi, chup raho, iske baare mein baat nahi karte." So, you know, and so we have brought out a lot of people. There are many more women who've now got the courage and the guts. One of the girls who came and saw our play, and 3 years later, we met her at the Bangalore airport, and she rushed up and said, "I just want to tell you, I've left my husband."
Johnny, a question that comes to my mind on the Vagina Monologues particularly is, it's made a big difference when anyone who's watched it. I think it's made a big difference whether you've been part of those incidents or not, right? But how do you plan to take that deeper into the inner regions of India?
Well, now we do it in Hindi and English.
But that's still in the urban centers.
No, not urban centers. We did it in Dharavi. We've done 12 shows for the slum dwellers.
I mean, even beyond, that's still part of an urban center, but I'm saying even beyond it. These problems are still in the rural areas.
Well, look, like everything else, one has to be invited. There's a cost that is involved. If anybody who has a business in Uttar Pradesh or anywhere else, we'd love to bring it there. But we haven't, because we can't afford to. We are paid 1,000 rupees a night, and we've been doing it for 16 years.
I think it's a great idea. That's something I want to flag off to those who want to be part of this movement and do something. Here's another opportunity we just come across. Because you can help us to take this strong message that Vagina Monologue actually gets out to women out there who don't have access to such information, access to such awareness creation. And I think we can maybe, try and help in those areas as well.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, sure. Keep that in mind for everyone in all the other forums that we are in. Amma, you've been working relentlessly in terms of bringing justice and the rights to women. and making sure we're not sidelined in any process of inequality that may take place. Tell us, what do you think? Do you think that the policies that have been put in place have really kind of been just and adequate to suit the purpose? Because the reason I came to you last is all of the things we're talking about will not find wings unless the legal system is there to support things. Right? So hence I wanted to really hear your views on it.
Absolutely. I think you cannot get equality or talk of equality or even the rights which you have. I mean, I say even to work freely in an office atmosphere till the time you are safe and secure. And that is why there were certain laws which were made, like sexual harassment at workplace. That is something women don't want to talk about, but which is rampant. And in the private sector, it is much more, because your career, your remuneration, all that is connected. At least in the government, you know, you've joined for 30 years, nobody can touch you. So this is the law which came at certain stage and has been really helpful in empowering women. Then another law which came was Domestic Violence Act, which is popularly known as the DV Act. I mean, I was just handling a case day before in Sessions Court, and in spite of a civil case going on, I could manage for the wife who was estranged because the husband happened to be a film producer and was involved with his actor and had kicked his wife out, who has a 2-year-old son and a 6-year-old son. And they were happily, the mother and son were planning to sell off all the property because nobody wants to give to the wife. We managed under section 18 of the DV Act. I want you to know this section. So in case anybody is going through that or you want to help, under section 18 of the DV Act, I managed to get a restraining order from the court that neither the mother-in-law or the son or anybody in the house could sell off any property till that estranged wife got her share or her children got her share. And what was worse, when it was in the trial court, it was in civil court, and the judge immediately said, no, there is a civil suit going on, so I will not restrain. I had to go to the higher court in appeal and say, the DV Act is a separate remedy. Do not club it with any other law. So what I'm trying to say, there are immense laws which empower women, but seldom do you know what your rights are. Today I'm here because of Rani Poddar. She called me up and said, you have to be here. For me, it was working, but I came. And let me tell you, when Rani came to me, she runs those water fountains called Pancham Pyau, and they had demolished 2 of them. And the 3rd was to be demolished outside Bombay Gymkhana. And she said, you know, I've got a notice to have been demolished at Breach Candy and at Teen Batti, but now you help me. It was a Saturday. I was going, my daughter had come down. We were planning a movie. And I told her no initially. But then my husband said, what? It's such an important issue. Water is something which is for the common man. I called her back and I said, Rani ji, I will do it. We filed it, went to the court. In fact, that day was my Salman Khan case also. But I left that case. I came and I said, no, I have to ensure that Rani's Pancham water fountain maintains. And it is still there outside Bombay Gym. And what I told her, I told Rani would remember the words. मैंने कहा रानी मैंने अपना काला कोट पहन लिया है, अब तो कोई ताजमहल भी नहीं गिरा सकता. That is, so that is what I'm saying. I feel it. You are empowered when you feel you are empowered. I mean, it's all with you. It's your knowledge, it's your confidence which can get you anywhere. I mean, when we were fighting the Salman Khan case, and when in Sessions Court 5-year imprisonment was given, Salman virtually started crying, and I was laughing. I said, "Ye real ka dabang hai, real life ke dabang hum log hain." So, so what I'm trying to say, when I see these young girls, I feel you are the future. You are at the right time. This is the decade for the women. I mean, it's over that we had to hide our babies. We had to be sorry that we were working. We couldn't get maternity leave. But today, with right, I say the law is there. You have sexual harassment at workplace. You have the DV Act. You have the latest section. I mean, Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, which came. which made even voyeurism, somebody following you, stalking, 354D, an offense. Earlier, if somebody was following you to the school, I think in our days, if we were going to college, we would have some guys following us all the way and we couldn't do anything, you know. But today it's a cognizable, non-bailable offense, 3 years imprisonment. So, you know, these are your powers. You don't have to be shy of. And what Justice Verma Commission said, that rape or any sexual offense, it is not something to be ashamed of. It has to be treated as a crime. It is the doer who has to be ashamed of. And that is the reason now girls are coming forward, registering their cases, and people like us who are fighting it out in the courts for you, but you have to stick by your conviction. And let me tell you, the cosmic forces come and help you. No longer an Abla Nari. I am not.
I'd like all the women here to know that Abha Singh didn't start off as a lawyer. She was, in fact, the Postmaster General. And all we went to her was to say, give us stamp papers, give us this, give us that. And she gave that up and began to do law. And look where she is today. So there's scope for everybody.
Yeah. Exactly, you know, leaving. But again, I said, you have to give up something to get something. The civil services, the IAS, I was in the customs earlier, then in the Postmasters General. So I left that for a cause, for a conviction. And I'm happy that today I am able to get justice. Not that water fountain, you know, whenever I go to Bombay Gym, I go and have a look at it, that it is still there. You know. You know, so, but again, we came together. And I say true empowerment is when all the women come together. And I think coming with Rani, we could do that. Now I'm doing many other things. But the biggest saying which says a woman is a woman's worst enemy, that needs to be gotten over. We have to be the best friends. The mother-in-law has to love her daughter-in-law as much as she loves her daughter. You know, no, daughter-in-law also. The daughter-in-law also has to love her mother-in-law. What I'm saying, that's what I said. We have to be friends, not bring down each other. And let me tell you, Parliament, the minister so eloquently said it, 10 years we will be there. I wanted to get up and tell her, but then I realized this is not an Arnab Goswami debate. That this, you know, I wanted to tell her the reservation bill was introduced 15 years back. And 5 times it has gone to the Parliament. And even when her party has a majority there, they have done nothing. It was torn by the MPs in the Parliament. And you are saying in 10 years it will be there. That is why they say, Neta sirf jumle bolte hai, karte kuch nahi hai. And let me tell you, after 10 years also, we'll be still struggling and saying, we want reservation, humko reservation do. So at least if you want 2019, before that, make it a point, we are not going to vote for a party. The women of UP, the illiterate women were smarter. They said, if you are giving us triple talaq, even we will vote for you. The Muslim women voted for BJP because they were promised that the law will come. So let us also say we will only vote for a party which promises, which passes the bill this year, that 33% reservation will be given. So let us not go on rhetorics, go on facts.
Audience. Please put up your hand. 2 questions is what we take, and tell us who you want to address that to. Tanuja ma'am, this mic coming to you.
This is to Abha. You know, you're saying that reservation for women will come within whatever, it was passed so many years ago and whatnot. I don't agree with reservation at all. Why should we have a reservation of 33%? I want equal rights. I want 50%. Why not?
Yeah, I agree with you. Tanuja ji, I agree with you. Being the 50% of the population, we need to get 50%. But since 33% is being asked for, and I feel we actually need it because the level playing field has not been provided to the women till now. We are the privileged few who must have gone to the best institutes for education. We are the privileged few whose husbands let us do what we wanted to do, because a lot of women had to back out. So reservation would bring us to equality, and definitely if 50%, but the 33%, if these men are not giving, the insecure men don't want women to be there in the Parliament. So at least to begin with, if 33% comes, I'm okay with that, and I'm sure the rest with their merit would be there by more than 50%.
and now have to keep our voices raised all the time to get to that 50%. So let's work on both. I think that's a great idea. Second question, perhaps the last one. No, did you have raised your hand? Stop. Okay. There's a lady, young lady right at the back. Scream out and speak up your question. Loud, really loud women's voices. Just getting the mic.
Yeah, I'm going to make this really quick. My question is actually to ma'am for Marvin, because we believe that development happens from grassroots, and I saw some representatives over here who were superb examples of enthusiasm and development. But I really want to question that what can we do? So I run an NGO, and we also work with self-help group and grassroots. But I want your suggestion as to what can we really do to bring these grassroots women up, because we are giving them skill trainings. They're not literate, so we're giving them skill training. We're giving them financial empowerment. We're teaching them about business. We're teaching them how to sell their products, where to sell their products. But their real fight happens at home, where they're not allowed to step out. So they have to ask for permission, saying, can I go out for 2 hours? Can I go a little far away? So they are fighting those fights. What can we do? Maybe Marvin as an organization or we as NGOs to better this and make this opportunity or a level playing field, as it was said.
Thank you for the question. What you can do, what Marvin, I can tell you by what Marvin has done. It has been there as an institution, as a support for the women. So like we have also faced these issues that women were in a meeting, an SHG meeting, and the husband came and forcibly took the women away from the meeting. But 2 years later, the same husband comes with a lantern to drop the wife to the meeting. So we have witnessed such kind of changes, and it is very much possible. But from your side, I would say that you need to be there so that once they come from, once they they come up to a certain level. Like right now, you are giving them skill training. Like right now, you are like probably assisting them with having the accounts ready and all. So once they come up to a certain level, then they have to graduate to higher level. Maybe they have a registered business. So in that, the whole consciousness, the whole awareness, and again, it has to be, if it is better for, what we have seen is better with women working as peer together, in groups, in associations, so networks, collaboration, and also kind of learning together. Women learn best from each other, and you have to be there for them. So this is going to be a long haul thing. So maybe you kind of scramble around looking for projects and donors and some good CSR funding, which is all very welcome. But you need to be there so that at the end of the day, then you see the progress, you see the journey that you have been able to achieve.
Thank you so much. In fact, I was going to close the session on CSR, and with my last question to Manisha and to Radhika also, because both of you have really spent a lot of time in the industry and across multiple industries, and you've been through the phase of how CSR has been implemented in the corporates. However, it's still a far cry from really being implemented in the right direction. And this is struggling with what is CSR, what is the right way to do this. How can CSR initiatives in corporates really play a role in aligning with the National Women's Parliament and make this movement into a much bigger movement going forward? You first.
Thank you. I think when an initiative is started and a corporate aligns with it, it gives the opportunity to train people to be confident enough to then participate in programs like this. Now, when a CSR program takes place, it deals with families, for example. To give it a context of the corporate world, if there is a factory worker's wife who's involved in a project, then she becomes empowered to go and share the idea, which in itself is perhaps an achievement. If a factory worker's wife knows that today we are talking about the National Women's Parliament, for example, this in itself is a great service because she's spreading the good word around. Secondly, once corporates indulge in CSR projects,
and they are directed towards women especially. I run an NGO, Rural Education Development Trust, and I work in deep Maharashtra with women who till yesterday couldn't write A, B, and C. But we gave them computer training, and today they go onto the internet to look at recipes. So I think it's a grand thing that CSR projects are going into little villages and towns, and each one of us needs a round of applause for doing little things in the society, which is great, giving us great rewards as a country. Thank you very much.
Can I take I only want to say that each one of us has somebody, a domestic help of some kind, a woman or the driver's wife or whatever. Start talking to them. Tell them how important it is for them to educate their girls, educate their children, stand up for their own rights. I do that, and there has been an amazing change that I see that has been brought about just in the area that I work in. So while, yes, their government needs to take it over and the panchayat needs to do things, but each one of you from today onward, just think about what you all can do for your own, for the women that are working for you, and see the change that will come about.
You made all the right points, and CSR today, boards are really very keen to have a general CSR program. Earlier it was all about just running the community of the countries they were in. And I think India really needs to go and target the CSR committees of the board. That's the key, because they all are looking for differentiated ideas, because I think companies which do good CSRs get good market cap, get good rewards in the market. So it's actually a self-fulfilling objective. So I think it's a matter of just going and getting all these companies and the CSR boards and really looking for differentiated ideas.
No, I'll tell the legal point. I think 2% has been made compulsory for all corporates to give for CSR. But the tragedy that has happened is that all the corporates have set up their own independent CRs in-house. So as a result, so many genuine NGOs who want money are not getting. So I think we need to file a PIL in the High Court that 2% CSR should be given outside, not to the in-house things. So this we are going to fight. Any one petitioner who's ready to join in, I will ensure that you get lots of money.
Well, after we close all this, I think just summing it up, there's only one line I can think of, is that true empowerment happens only if the woman feels empowered. It's not enough to just empower them, but to make them feel it, understand it, be aware of their rights, and actually go out there and make a difference to another set of women. So each one must pass it on somewhere. With that, I'm going to close the discussion. I think this is a conversation for everyone. So thank you so much for your time, for your thoughts, and I think it's been very enthusiastic audience. That's really appreciated your points of view. Thank you. Big hands for everyone.
We've enjoyed having these wonderful ladies on stage. We've listened to them, we've asked questions, and we will move on with the next part. Often and unfortunately, one's enemies end up being other women. Let us not be judgmental. Let us make their situation, let's not make their situation harder than it already might be. And let us instead hold their hands in solidarity with the belief that their story will be your story. And more often than not, because we are women who share with each other, and when we share, we learn that how aligned each one's life is, and it makes their story our story. I'll pass the mic over to Sad. Right. So now we will be giving a vote of thanks to our guests and a small felicitation. So I welcome on stage. Oh, of course. Before I welcome others on the stage, we need to felicitate Dolly Thakur, Abha Singh, Miss Girotra, Miss Malu, and Ms. Ravi Kumar. The panel, thank you very much indeed.
तुम ही श्रद्धा, तुम ही भक्ति, तुम ही वीरता, तुम ही शक्ति। तुम ही श्रद्धा, तुम ही भक्ति, तुम ही वीरता, तुम ही शक्ति। अन्य नहीं तुम मेरी सजग में जीव जन्मदा मानव की। अन्य नहीं तुम मेरी सजग में जीव जन्मदा मानव की। तुम ही सखी और भगिनी भार्या, तुम ही बीज हो अभिनव की। तुम ही श्रद्धा, तुम ही भक्ति, तुम ही वीरता, तुम ही शक्ति। तुम ही श्रद्धा, तुम ही भक्ति, तुम ही वीरता, तुम ही शक्ति। स्त्री शक्ति विविधा विरक्ति क्षमा कृपा ममता शांति। स्त्री शक्ति विविधा विरक्ति क्षमा कृपा ममता शांति। वैराग्य विशरणागत तेरा असुर मर्दिनी तुम क्रांति। श्रद्धा तुम ही भक्ति, तुम ही वीरता, तुम ही शक्ति।
Thank you very much. I welcome to the stage stalwarts who are going to be honored this afternoon. Rani Kailash Poddar is more than the founder of the Pancham Parivar, which launched thousands of drinking water fountains across the country. She truly is the voice of the Marwari women. She is the woman who went into households and communities and urged those women to take off their ghungats and step out of the four walls of their homes. She presented a world of possibilities to them, empowering them to believe in themselves and not let society put patriarchal restrictions on their thoughts and actions. We have the honor of mentioning to you that she's had the Lifetime Achievement Award for Women's Empowerment. May I request Mr. Rahul Karad to please facilitate Rani Poddar, and then I would ask Mrs. Poddar to please say a few words after her felicitation. Thank you. We are just waiting for Mr. Rahul Karad to felicitate Rani Kailash Poddar. Actually, we have an idea. We are going to have Dr. Prakriti Poddar, a very empowered woman leader of today, do the honors. So Dr. Prakriti Poddar is felicitating Mrs. Rani Kailash Poddar through the hands of Dolly Thakur. Big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. A big round of applause. Rani Poddar has done wonderful things by providing water to so many. May we hand the mic over to Mrs. Rani Poddar, who will be happy to say a few words to us. Thank you. May I request some silence, please, because Mrs. Poddar is on the floor. So may I request a bit of silence for us to be able to hear what Mrs. Poddar has to say. Thank you.
I think so all the speeches are over, so people wants to go back. Am I right? So please take your seats for 2 minutes. I wanted to tell you one thing only. Prakriti told today that corporate houses ladies are not backing each other. I am also from a very big house and very big, what to say, I should not say from my own mouth that so many schools we are running, Dharamshala we are running, so many people we are helping. And Prakriti, when she came to me, I told her, Prakriti, I will definitely come. At that day, I was very well. And 3 days back only, I got so sick, I was hospitalized. And for Prakriti, only I have come today here. And so somebody, I have won 168 awards. So I thought now it should be enough. And when I got from HIV International a Young Mother Teresa Award, then I thought it is now totally over. So, but Prakriti told me, no, it's not over, ma'am. You have to come. And then I am thinking it should go at least 180. But she is saying it should go to 200. So let me think what happens in future. And Abha is a very, very near and dear friend of mine. When I told Abha, this is my work which I am doing for the society. First work of all the ladies are present here to help the society. When you help the society, if somebody is crying, people will run. No, 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 no. It's not that. Just go. My child, my young child, he saw one policeman. He was very thirsty and was standing at the this charaha, you can say, right? So he came out from the car, and Mercedes coming out from a big car. Nobody wants, children wants, oh, I am this. No, he came down, gave his bottle to that fellow and told, Bhaiya, itni garmi hai, tum pani pee lo. That line I can't forget in my life, that water has got such a big value in our life. And we should always come, take one project in your life, not 100 things, and never grumble behind anybody. Because that person is not listening, you are wasting your time and energy both. Abha is such a lovely friend. Please go to her. Money, I have told her also, Abha, money is not every criteria. Criteria is the humanity which you have in heart. With humanity, you will fight, you will win. If you will fight for the money, you may win, you may not. That is God's grace. So please try and understand. I have told Prakriti, I am from the corporate house, but you please come to me. Podars are going, I am Rani Poddar. She is Prakriti Poddar. So I told her, Prakriti, you come to me. Which way you want my help? Please tell me, I'll do for the institution, this parliament session, and everything, whatever Prakriti wants in her life. And you all are most welcome. Anytime, through Prakriti, please contact me. If I can help you out, I will be always there for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Mrs. Poddar.
one thing I wanted to tell. Mr. Rahul said, no, I'm sitting here, I will not go. मैंने कहा, sir, when men are there, women are there. And if women are there, man has to be there. So never let your husband down. It's our moral binding that we have to run with the family. You cannot run alone. Then you are me. And if you are going together, you are we. And me and we has got a great change. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Mrs. Poddar. May I now request Mr. Karat to come on to the stage, please, as I announce the next felicitations, please. The next name that I'm going to announce is a very special person, Tanuja Mukherjee. Tanuja Mukherjee is an actress who has predominantly worked in the film industry. A recipient of 2 Filmfare Awards, Tanuja is best known for her roles in Hindi films like Mem Didi, Nai Roshni, Bahare Phir Bhi Aayegi, Jewel Thief, Chand aur Suraj, Jeene Ki Raah, Hathi Mere Saathi, Anubhav, Mere Jeevan Saathi, and Do Chor. Tanuja was born into a family of well-known filmmakers and actresses. But rather than competing with other actresses of her generation, she made a mark for herself throughout her career. She remained one of the few performers who did not judge a role by how big it was, but how the performance itself would be. Tanuja never craved for big roles, but fine, memorable performances, establishing herself as one who believes in the art of acting rather than stardom. Stardom, of course, followed her as the audience was endeared by her multiple performances. She served as a brand ambassador of the Dignity Foundation, an NGO she truly supports. It provides to senior citizens in India an enriching life, a dignified way to live, protection from abusive situations, and a social network of elders. Tanuja has been unconventional in all her endeavors, including walking away from situations that don't make her happy. This is true empowerment, and she has also received the Lifetime Achievement Award in Hindi cinema. A great round of applause to Tanuja Mukherjee, please. Thank you very much. Kalpana Munshi. Mrs. Kalpana Munshi, I request you to come on to the stage, please. We are now welcoming Mrs. Kalpana Munshi. But before we welcome Mrs. Kalpana Munshi, we are going to pass the mic to Mrs. Tanuja Mukherjee, who people want to listen to you, Mrs. Mukherjee. So may I pass the mic to you, because ladies have been waiting for so long to hear you talk. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Mrs. Tanuja Mukherjee, please.
Namaskar, everybody, all the ladies. I love you all. And I want to say that whatever this women's parliament for democratic participation, इसका मतलब अब मेरे को कोई हिंदी में समझाएगा तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगेगा. समझा सकता है कोई? तो जिनको अंग्रेजी नहीं आती या अंग्रेजी समझ में नहीं आती, उनको समझाएं कि ये औरतों के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण चीज है कि हमें एक मौका मिल रहा है एक डिसीजन करने का, एक निर्णय लेने का कि हम इस देश की भलाई के लिए काम करेंगे या नहीं. और जो भी लॉज आएंगे या जो भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज में आएंगे, उनके साथ हम उनके साथ जाएंगे या उनकी जगह पे आएंगे.
Do we want to rule this country? Yes or no? Do we want to rule this country? I want to hear a yes. I do. All right. Okay. So thank you very much. I hope you've heard enough of my voice. Right.
Mrs. Kalpana Munshi is the chairperson of the Munshi Group of Companies. Kalpanaji describes herself as a social worker who not just sits in the ivory tower and commands people to work, but actually steps into their shoes to understand and uplift the underprivileged. Kalpana was the first, now listen to this, ladies. Kalpana was the first woman president of the Rotary Main Club and is currently the woman president of the Council for Fair Business Practices, its acronym being CFBP. Kalpanaji was also the first woman president, as I mentioned, of the Rotary Club and the first president of Council for Fair Business Practices, which I've also mentioned before, and also the recipient of Lifetime Achievement Award for Social Work. Rahulji, would you please felicitate Kalpanaji? Kalpanaji, you make us proud. Thank you very much indeed. Dr. Seema Rao will be our next guest, but before that, we will have Kalpanaji say a few things to us, which will be very encouraging and very interesting. Over to you, Kalpanaji. Thank you.
Good afternoon, friends. You know, when Lord of Creation created women, he thought what a beautiful enigma he has created, the wonder of wonders. Women is a real wonder. And we all are a wonder, and I'm also one of them. I want to share with you two very important incidents in my life, which I think you will learn from. I was also like any other housewife till I lost my husband about 28 years ago when I was very young, and I had two very small children to look after. Suddenly the sky had fallen. My husband left the whole empire to me alone. Overnight, I became the chairman of the whole Munshi group and did not know where to start with. सब लोग सोचने लगे कि अब ये क्या करेगी, कहाँ से स्टार्ट करेगी, बच्चों को देखेगी, घर को देखेगी या बिजनेस संभालेगी. But believe me, dear friends, किसी को भी वुमेन को एम्पावर करने की जरूरत नहीं है. You have to empower your own self. On the third day itself, after the death of my husband, I moved to my office. I started studying the whole files, got into collaborations, learned the whole business, left my ego on one side, called my assistants, everything, started learning from them as I sit in a college or in a school. We had big business in Russia. I learned Russian. I used to go 7 o'clock in the morning to learn Russian language. Not only that, I am a plain graduate, just graduate. That also in arts. I didn't know anything about economics. I started the exports and imports. I started classes and I joined them and I equipped myself with that. Not only that, as we had number of professional CEOs and other people, they used to talk on the phone to me about the business because we have a hardcore business in machineries. So they used to talk, which maybe I was not able to understand on the other side of the phone. But I used to pose as if I can understand each and everything. What I want to tell you, never feel weak in your life. Sometimes you have to pose that, yes, you understand everything. But mind you, you have to prepare yourself for that. So I learned from that. Not only that, my CEO, who had become greedy after my husband, he thought he has become the Malik. ये औरत क्या करेगी, ये क्या करेगी, बच्चे संभालेगी. And one fine day he just said, Mrs. Munshi, you don't have to worry. आप बैठो आराम से, हम आपको कमा कर खिलाएंगे. I looked at him, suddenly I woke up. I said, no Kalpana, you're not a lady, you're a leda. You cannot be a lady. When you talk, suddenly I was thrown in the world of the men, where I was all the time doing namaste. I forgot to do namaste. Now when I do namaste, I really feel, Lord, sorry. He did namaste, I did namaste. But then I was feeling awkward because I'm so much used to shaking hands. Because they're all men and all over the world whom I have to deal with. So my CEO, he said, Ms. Munsham, kamakar khilayenge. I said, what? First time I raised my eyebrows and looked deep into his eyes with my contempt. I said, what did you say? He said, then he realized perhaps he had something wrong. And he said, no, मैं तो वैसे ही कह रहा था कि नहीं, आप जैसा कहेंगे हम वैसा करेंगे. I said, आज तो ये बात कही, दोबारा से ये बात कभी गलती से भी मत कहना. And that made my iradas stronger. That made me a fighter on that day itself. Second incident came, my collaborators. Because no man can see a powerful woman. No man can see a rich woman. Or no man can see a woman ruling. They like to put them down. And it is entirely up to you. You don't have to put down anybody. It may be a man or you don't have to come with this thing कि हमको किसी को नीचे दिखाना नहीं. But you have to be truthful to yourself. I may have become a chairman, but this title has nothing to do. You have to prove yourself that yes, if you're chairman, you are worthwhile. So you have to be very careful of. So these two things I wanted to share. कि be strong in your life, and अंत में मैं ये कहूंगी कि कोई भी चीज डिफिकल्ट नहीं है लाइफ में. लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती. कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. आप हमेशा कोशिश करें और कोशिश करें. Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Very inspirational, very motivating. Thank you, Mrs. Munshi. The next person whose name I'm about to announce is very special, and I'm overusing the word special, because Dr. Seema Rao, who's on the stage, is India's first and only commando trainer. A big round of applause. Kalpana was also, Dr. Seema Rao is being honored for shattering the barriers between men and women and working tirelessly to empower women. Best Empowerment Award goes to Dr. Seema Rao. We are so proud of you, Dr. Rao. Thank you very much, Dr. Rao. Dr. Indu Shahani, Chief Mentor of Colleges of the HSNC Board, is not here, but somebody will be collecting her award, but not before we've heard Dr. Rao speak to us and inspire her with her unusual story, woman's story in India. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Dr. Seema Rao, India's first and only woman to have trained the commandos of the Indian forces. Yes, I trained the commandos of the Indian forces. I have been doing this work for the past 20 years, and my subject is called close quarter battle, which means all fighting that happens between you and the enemy when he's at a distance of about 30 yards. I am the daughter of a freedom fighter and the wife of a highly decorated army officer, but I am a woman achiever in her own right. I stand shoulder to shoulder with men of war in the arena of battle training, and I win their respect. What I want to say today to all of you is that, there's a saying, respect is to be commanded, not demanded. Well, I beg to differ on that. I think respect is to be demanded, not commanded. If a woman respects herself, the world will respect her. I think men and women should be complementing each other's forces. Like, I think one of the, women spoke some time back and she said that men and women should work with each other. Yes, I truly agree to that. That if men and women complement each other's forces, then they can make a huge success of whatever they're doing. I would also like to say one more thing, is that the only difference between a man and a woman is that a man is born out of a woman and a woman is not born out of a man. So that shows what we really are. And no matter what you're doing, I want you to believe that you have inside you a lot of potential. It just needs to be manifested out, believe me. When I started off, it was years back, 20 years back. I was so unsure of so many things. But where I have reached today is something which I would have never thought I would reach. So it's all just one step at a time. It's a belief in yourself, and it is walking on the right path that makes you reach the impossible. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Seema Rao. So proud of you. And in the audience, I've noticed another former army officer, Dr. Major Meenakshi Pulgaonkar. So kudos to all these women who have achieved so much in their own rights. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will be breaking. Before we break for lunch, which I was just about to announce, Dr. Indu Sani will be felicitated in absentia. There's somebody who is going to be here to receive the award on her behalf, Dr. Karad. She would like to present the shawl to Mrs. Sani. So if you would kindly do the honors. So that was for Dr. Indu Sani. Thank you very much for your presence in the first session. We shall now break for lunch, and let us make sure that we resume at 2:30 sharp so that all the interesting women who are going to speak will be back on the stage and will listen to the sessions post-lunch. Thank you very much indeed.